Let me start with something most people never realize until it's too late. There's a quiet force in life that determines almost everything: who rises, who stagnates, and who slowly destroys their potential without even knowing it. You see it in careers, in money, in relationships, even in health. Yet most people chase shortcuts, secrets, or strategies, never connecting the dots. They miss the force that actually moves the needle, and it's hiding in plain sight. Look at anyone whose life is chaotic: missed opportunities, abandoned goals, constant frustration, late starts. The pattern is always the same. They are controlled by their feelings. Tired? They quit. Uncertain? They hesitate. Bored? They run. Their life is reaction, not decision. And most people never notice. But there's a group who quietly succeed, and it's not luck, not talent. Many aren't even brilliant. They have something ordinary people avoid, and it explains almost everything. Here's the first secret. These people do what matters even when they don't feel like it. They ignore excuses, ignore mood, and don't wait for inspiration. They show up, they act. And over months, years, decades, that single habit compounds into results that look like genius. But it's not genius. It's consistency. Meanwhile, everyone else wonders why the world passes them by. Now, let's be honest. Most people only commit when it's easy. Excited? They work. Convenient? They show up. Smooth path? They push forward. But the moment it gets boring, uncomfortable, or uncertain, they vanish. Every time they vanish, their future shrinks. Not because they lack ability, but because they lack consistency. That's the ugly truth. Feelings will sabotage you far more than failure ever will. And here's the kicker. Feelings want comfort. Growth demands discomfort. Most people live as prisoners of their moods, letting temporary emotions decide permanent results. They think they need motivation, talent, or a sudden insight to change, but that's a lie. What actually changes a life is the boring, unglamorous ability to do what needs to be done, especially when you don't want to. That's the force that compounds. That's the force that creates momentum so powerful it looks like destiny. Think about money, health, relationships. The people who master these areas don't rely on luck or talent. They rely on doing the work when no one is watching, when it's uncomfortable, when it's tedious. The ones who fail, they wait for the mood, the feeling, the inspiration, and it never comes consistently. That's why success looks so mysterious. It's only mysterious to people who haven't disciplined themselves to act regardless of mood. Here's something few consider. Most people overestimate their future capacity and underestimate the power of small, repeated actions. One day of skipping work feels harmless. One day of giving in to mood feels trivial, but repeated over months and years, it compounds against you. The small, invisible erosion of your future is relentless, and almost no one notices until it's too late. Here's where most people get trapped. They want big results, but they want them on their terms. Comfortable, exciting, easy. That's not how life works. Real growth is messy, boring, and uncomfortable at first. Real success is doing what you should, whether you feel like it or not. It's boring work compounded into extraordinary outcomes. The difference between ordinary people and successful people is the same difference that exists between a tiny snowball rolling down a hill and an avalanche.
Now, here's a subtle point most people ignore. Emotion
is the silent killer of ambition. When you follow feelings, you trade long-term results for temporary comfort. You give up momentum for avoidance. And the worst part? You don't even notice it happening. One decision at a time, you shrink your potential. That's why successful people obsess over routines, habits, and systems. They remove emotion from the equation. They automate consistency. Let me give you a practical application. Every day, identify one thing that matters but feels uncomfortable. Do it first. Do it well. Don't wait for the mood. Don't wait for motivation. Do it anyway. Repeat this every day. The results are invisible at first, but after months, years, it compounds into a separation so big, others call it genius. And here's the secret most people never understand. Life isn't changed by talent. It isn't changed by luck. It isn't changed by sudden inspiration. It's changed by repeated action. Action that ignores the mood, the convenience, the fleeting feeling of, I don't want to. This is the quiet, invisible force that decides almost everything. This is what builds wealth, health, strong relationships, and influence, and yet almost no one focuses on it. That's why they fail. Now let's talk about what most people focus on instead. Motivation, tips, hacks, secrets. They chase these because they want shortcuts. They want results without the tedious work. They want to be moved by feelings rather than move themselves. But here's the harsh truth. There is no substitute for showing up consistently, doing what's required, and ignoring the mood. This is what separates winners from everyone else. And it's brutally simple. Ask yourself, are you a prisoner of your feelings? Do you act only when it's convenient or enjoyable? If so, your future is shrinking every day. Every time you let a momentary feeling decide permanent results, you trade long-term success for temporary comfort. And the cost is almost invisible until it's too late. Here's a practical rule. Treat your feelings like an unreliable advisor, not a decision maker. Your feelings will lie. Your feelings will demand comfort. Your feelings will tell you to quit, to postpone, to avoid. But you ignore them. You do the work anyway. You build the habit anyway. You act anyway. Over time, this behavior compounds, creating results so large they feel like destiny. But it's just arithmetic. And here's one more thing few understand. This isn't just about work. It's about everything. Saving money, eating well, showing up for people, exercising, learning, reading, avoiding bad habits. All of it comes down to one principle: consistency. Not motivation, not mood, not excitement. Consistency. That's the force that separates mediocrity from greatness. And if you master this skill, you'll find opportunities that others miss. You'll find discipline when others crumble. You'll build momentum that feels unstoppable. You'll protect yourself from most mistakes people spend a lifetime making. And the beauty is, it's simple. Not flashy, not dramatic, but nothing else comes close to its power. This is the secret few discover before their lives start slipping away. So, what's the takeaway? Stop negotiating with your feelings. Stop waiting for inspiration. Stop chasing comfort. Start doing what's required. Do it every day. Compounding isn't glamorous, but it's real. It's unstoppable. It's the quiet engine behind every great life. And the first person who figures this out gains a huge advantage most will never catch up to. Remember, life isn't changed by grand ideas or clever tricks. It's changed by repeated action. Action that ignores the mood, the convenience, the fleeting feeling of, I don't want to. This is the quiet, invisible force that decides everything. This is what builds wealth, health, strong relationships, and influence, and yet almost no one focuses on it. That's why they fail.